People last night came to me, and I'm telling you the truth, and they asked me, where have you found this woman? I said, God, universe, wanted us to meet. And for me, it has been the most incredible moment when you said, yes, you're coming to London. And you're a busy woman. You have broken your glass ceiling. You have made your career with determination and great intention. So I wanted to say thank you. How does it feel to come and be recognized for the work that you do? Because women like you give, but at some point also you realize that it feels good to receive. So how do you feel receiving this award at the House of Parliament last night?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I want to begin by thanking Mirela. I have to say this to all of you. When I met her first, her energy is so infectious that you immediately start walking towards her. And at the panel, we were 4 of us, but trust you me, I was only looking at her. I was not looking at the audience. I was not looking at the other panelists, even though they were incredible. So I have to say that it's all thanks to Mirela that I'm here, because her personality is so positive, and the way she speaks, the way she tells her story, and the way she helps you also engage and get into a conversation has really got me here. So it is definitely for her, and then next for the honor. So thank you very much, Mirela.
You have achieved a lot, and thank you again. For me, it's like I'm blown away from your success and achievement. And now you are a CEO, you are a leader, you consult the top people in the world. Did you ever think that you would become the person you have become today? Was it a journey? Or did it come as in a natural way, or was somebody who supported you? Or tell us, how do we get there?
I most definitely did not think that this would be my journey. So I started very young. It was at the age of 17, and I was studying. I was also simultaneously working, because my family has, I have to extend my gratitude to my family. My parents, most definitely my father and mother, were extremely supportive of this choice that you can work as well as study. So I had to put in double the effort. I had to study and ensure that I go the extra mile. And of course, the leadership of the UAE. I think women now have the place and position to put themselves first, because the government wants you to do it as well. So it is really the great combination, and I would say an amalgamation of great family as well as a good government. They really, really ensure the emancipation of women in the best way possible in their personal as well as professional journeys. So I have to say that you have to put in a lot of work initially, but most people also know this about me, that I don't take anything for granted, even today. I would be the first person in the office, and I would also be the last person to leave my cabin, because it is a lot of responsibility. And I do believe in delegation, but I also do believe in supervising everything myself and trying to finish whatever is doable in that particular day, because you have to prioritize.
Absolutely.
You have to prioritize and see what that day looks like and what tomorrow would be.
Yeah.
So as much as you can supervise, and not really in terms of micromanaging, but more in terms of what all can you prioritize in that particular day. So my journey has been quite an incredible one, and I am definitely extremely great. I have a lot of gratitude for everybody involved, because it's been a great group of people in my circle.
Amazing. I can, from everything you share, I can understand that you are a woman, that you don't leave things to the chance and then blame others. You having this nature of supervising is very mothering, and making sure that if it goes right, it's everybody's achievement. But if it goes wrong, it's my responsibility. And that's why you have to make sure that everything is in the right place, because you are a woman that are telling us it's not about you try, it's about you have to do whatever it takes. Now, it's a great news to hear that also things are changing rapidly in Emirates for women, because it didn't it didn't exist that women would come and travel and speak and get a mic and consult big people and follow their career. So tell us about how things are changing for women in UAE.
So I want to mention about what you said earlier. So I'm the only woman in the senior management of my office. So clearly you have to be the mother. There is no other option. All the men are extremely supportive, but they also don't have another choice because I'm here because of my merit and not by my gender.
That's wonderful.
When it comes to the position of women in the UAE or larger Middle East, I want to mention to this audience, and this may be a very interesting piece of information for everyone, especially We're at the Brink and after the International Women's Day, that by religion, Islam empowers women. Contrary to what people would think, Islam empowers women. It is given multiple times in the holy verses, as well as Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, in terms of the life that he lived, that you have to honor your daughter, you have to honor your mother, you have to honor your wife, you have to ensure the status, dignity, as well as the rights of women. It has been mentioned multiple times in the Holy Quran. It has been mentioned multiple times in the constitutions of all the Middle Eastern countries. But what the democracies or rather the Western media has possibly put forward is that ages ago, or rather decades ago, there was a kind of atmosphere, there was a kind of conditioning that was extended. That does not make it right. That does not make it Islam. Islam is extremely empowering of everybody, men and women included. So one should learn more about it because there is a lot of information that you can individually get together as well as understand. What people might be thinking is that women are oppressed, women dress a certain way, but I don't see anyone asking a man if he wants to dress a certain way. Then why is the question extended to a woman? Do I look like a woman who's oppressed?
No. Yeah.
So I think the ignorance of most people is what is leading to that incorrect narrative. But of course, now women are coming forward and changing that extensively in the Middle East. I see that UAE has been the leader in terms of emancipation of women. But of course, now Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Kuwait, Oman, Bahrain, all the countries in the Middle East are coming forward. And more women are coming and talking about not just their accomplishments, but what they want to do. What are their dreams and what is it that they want to do in terms of impacting society? That is what matters as a community to all of us.
Wow, that's powerful. I always say, recently also I shared powerfully, that when we see incredible people, women who are doing amazing things, instead of being jealous, be grateful, because by just looking at you, you are already empowering us. Because you're telling us, don't quit. It works. It's like somebody who goes to the top and say, hey, come up. I can see it. It's possible. And not everybody has the courage to do that, especially being the only woman in that environment where you are, to be able to give advice to top people, including royal family. This is incredible. Now, I want to focus, since we have a full room of entrepreneurs, and these women are female founders. We have some investors here in the room as well. And they have dreams, but many times they are challenges that somehow they block us, they stop us. What are the main challenges you see in the Women UAE have, especially in the environment where you have, and how do you overcome these challenges?
So I can only talk from my individual journey. So my only challenge initially was that because I started very young and I was in the most non-traditional sector that anyone would presume, which is in metal commodities and scraps. So I was sitting in a shipyard with 50 men who are not blue-collared workers. They are clearly from the other side. And they would not want to take orders from a woman. They would not want to listen to a woman. They would say, where is the gentleman? Where are the people who are actually doing the job? And then the answer would be, I'm the one who's doing the job. So it was sitting in the sun in a scrapyard in Abu Dhabi. And that's where the members of the royal family spotted me. I have to be grateful because that's not a choice anyone would want to make. That's not your most natural career choice. Tell your sisters or your daughters to sit in a scrapyard, right? World over. It's not just in the Middle
Well,
East.
that means that you do whatever it takes.
You do what it takes, and it was not the most natural choice for me because I was educated and it was easier for me to do a job in a big company. But my father encouraged me. I have to say it's all thanks to my father. He's an extremely proud father, and I want you
Let's
all
give
to
him a big hand. Oh, thank you. What a supportive father.
I have to mention this one particular point that there was a day where, at that point, there were no female washrooms in the scrapyards of Abu Dhabi. So it was extremely difficult. You know it as women. That's when you start learning about extreme hygiene products as well for the restrooms. But I called my father up and I said that this is difficult. There are not enough facilities. The men are brash, and it's difficult for me to do this. Can I just stop and get into something else? So he said, if you are constantly on the phone, you're not going to be able to find a solution. Find a solution and make this work. So that was extremely empowering because at that point I did have a choice. But I chose not to do the other way. I chose to continue, and it was commercially extremely rewarding for people who know that commodities are extremely rewarding. But so are services. So when members of the family who are extremely generous and gracious in their approach, Abu Dhabi royal family, they said, we want a female to be heading the oil and gas division. And that was also very, very encouraging and commending on their part to be able to do that for somebody like me.
When the opportunities show up, you have to be ready. And where was that female? The only female was you.
So it was quite something for me because I took some time. I said, I don't know if I want to do this with the family. I'm not really sure whether I should be taking that up. And the next thing I do is I take a plane and I go to Jordan for a nice sea diving vacation. So I took 5 days off, and after coming back, I spoke to my father because he's generally the only person I speak to when it comes to any kind of professional decision making. He's our mentor, and he's also the mentor of His Highness. He also takes him like a father. Wow. So I asked him, what should I be doing? Should I be taking this up? He said, what is the maximum that could go wrong? So I said, nothing really, because, this is a progressive society. They are a far-sighted government. So I said, then go ahead and do it. So it was quite simple, precise, but at that time I was very unsure. But his push, his support really, really pushed my career. So I have to say, you have to have your group of men. And I see that with Ian, I see that with so many things, Mirela. It's wonderful. You need to have your group of allies to be able to push yourself. Because as women, sometimes we're always double questioning our ability. We shouldn't be doing that. We should really just go ahead and what is the worst that can happen? That's the question you need to ask. What is the maximum that could go wrong? If nothing much, then go ahead and do it.
And you got the Nelson Mandela Award, Peace Nobel Award. I mean, this is... So tell us about this. How was the experience?
So it has been incredible because before the awards and the recognition started coming in, it was quite some time for me to be able to convince our board, to be able to convince everybody in our office to make 2 particular investments. So we made 2 investments, one in sustainability, in engineered genomes, to be able to do massive carbon capture, but at the same time they are regenerative in nature, which is what would help them with producing renewable energy. And the other one in being brain-to-computer interfaces. Now, the only brain-to-computer interfaces worldwide are invasive, and they are lethal for human trials. But the one that we do are completely non-invasive, and they do not have any impact in terms of the physicality, so you have nothing on your body. But for a frequency to communicate with another, you do need something, which is what we have developed, patented system. Now, this has massive healthcare implication in terms of supporting people undergoing Alzheimer's, autism, special children, special people, and brain-to-surgeries, because you don't know the outcome of surgeries only after you get up from the surgery. Now, our scientist, who's just a boy, merely 22 years old, never been to university, homeschooled, and we made this investment just because of the impact that brain-to-computer interfaces can generate. So it's completely research and development. We don't commercialize on this technology. And the other investment is extremely just for nature to be able to, I think, promote nature-based solutions. There is a lot of conversation on technological solutions which are expensive failures, if you ask me. So you need to promote intelligent nature-based solutions. And which is what led to a very good recognition for me. So His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, the ruler of Dubai, he was given the Apex honor by the UAE Ministry of Presidential Affairs in 2022, being the first awardee. And let me tell you, he's the ruler of Dubai. The second awardee was me. So it was a massive honor for me at that point in terms of the...
Now, for women who are listening to this conversation and they start visualizing, one day I want to be that woman of impact, and we want to see more and more women being out there as role models for others, what would be your advice, especially for women who have started their own business, they're really working hard. You know what it takes when you start your own business. You're 24/7, you have a mission, and sometimes it gets harder and harder. So what would be your advice for women who are running their own business, sacrificing their time, their sleep, their family, because they believe on what they're doing? What would be your guide to get where they want to go?
First is join the Global Women's Club. I have to say that. You build an exceptional community of like-minded people. I will go back today as an extremely motivated person because I get to hear so much from Mirela and all of you yesterday. It was wonderful. Trust you me. I learned a lot, and I'm extremely grateful for this opportunity to be here today and talk to all of you. From my personal experience in terms of the guide, it's never too easy to take the failures that come with entrepreneurship. Time just makes it easier. Coping mechanisms just become better. So initially, when you spent years working on one project and that doesn't work out, you feel really dejected. You feel down. You feel, what did I really do wrong to be not able to float this in the best possible way? But after many years of failing many times, you realize that it's fine. It's okay. Something else will work. So it was, I think coping mechanism just becomes better with age. Earlier, it was extremely difficult for me also. And I think one more thing that really worked for me was when you're working with a group of men, trust you me, you get to talk about everything. Literally everything under the sun. And they have the most...
They're not that bad, no?
They have the most unusual conversations in the presence of a woman, by forgetting by and large that she's also a woman. So it's also good sometimes, but I do feel that after a point they take you as a brother. They don't think of you as a woman. And I do get that a lot in my office. But of course, His Highness has always been extremely... gracious and extremely affectionate of me because he takes me in the capacity of a sister and values my advice, values the fact that I would talk primarily for the success and the impact of the project and nothing else. So that is, I think, the place and merit that women bring.
He's so smart.
Men have to be these days. Yeah. So I think it's a good community of educated men. I have to say the family as well as most entrepreneurs and government members are heavily educated. They are experienced. They are military men, but at the same time, they do value meritorious advice, irrespective of gender, irrespective of age, irrespective of background or ethnicity. They value merit. And this is what I see in terms of their approach. There's one incident that I would mention to women here because I think it's a good information building exercise as well. So the ruler of Dubai, he himself being somebody who's a ruler of that particular city that you're living in, the emirate that you're living, there was a time where our cars crossed each other, right? And the ruler always has precedence over anyone moving. They said, stop the car, let the woman go. So that's the kind of place and position that today men are ensuring that women get. And this is why I feel we're so blessed to be in a country which is empowering women from the top.
That's amazing.
And ensuring that everybody has a space, everybody can practice their faith.
Can we come with you? Now, this is where I was coming, Dr. Arshi, because what happened when we launched Global Women Club Dubai, I remember in 2022, we did a conference in Dubai, and 60% of the room were not women from Dubai. They were women from London, from New York, from Los Angeles, from Berlin, from all Europe, because they got excited. They said, we're going to Dubai. Everybody got the flight. They came to Dubai. And what I noticed when I came to Abu Dhabi and Dubai last month, I met some of the members. They said, oh, so you're not in Romania anymore. No, no, no. You remember I came with you and I stayed here. I liked it. And then I met another one, Michelle Raymond. She couldn't come to receive the award last night. And I said, well, are you coming because I'm in Dubai. What are you doing there? You remember I came in the conference with you? It's great here. I'm staying here. So now the thing is, like, more and more women are seeing the potential and the freedom and the opportunities that you guys are creating to empower women. Now, if somebody is wondering, I want to try, what would be your advice for women who want to try to start a business in Dubai or in Abu Dhabi?
So I think one of the good parts about you feel really good being a woman in the UAE. You genuinely feel good about yourself. You feel safe. You can go out in the night. And if you are out in the night, that is genuinely only in the UAE at 3 o'clock in the morning, without being bothered, without being fearful of anything. And trust you me, I met this female, a beautiful female from Russia back in the day. And she said, I've recently moved to the UAE and I never left. I said, how long was that? She said, that was 30 years ago.
Wow.
So she came just to visit on a tourist visa,
happening.
and she never left. So she started her business, she started thriving in the industry, and she was supported by everybody possible. So this is my advice, that if you want to start working in the UAE, just come visit. It's as simple as that. Just come
My
visit.
sister didn't want to come back in January.
I know,
She
I
said,
don't want her
I'm
to go as
staying
well.
here. She said, why we're going back?
It is true, and the business and the community is really good.
How do I say? Because coming from you now, we can use the opportunity to learn what is the best fast-track way, a successful way to come.
So the government is now offering multiple visas for job seekers, as well as the other way for entrepreneurs. So entrepreneurs can come in, and in Dubai, it's as fast as 3 days you can get a license.
Wow.
3 days you will get a license. Certain jurisdictions, because we have several special economic zones, certain jurisdictions you will get it in half an hour, 30 minutes. You will have your license. You can go ahead and immediately put the visa. So the fast tracking of the government in terms of all of this is to ensure that more and more specialized individuals, more and more experts, we build a competitive knowledge-based economy with all of you, with everybody. And trust you me, people move first by themselves, and then they get their family. So it's even better.
And then they get the neighborhood. Well, I can see how the whole culture is opening up, welcoming women, welcoming people who want to work, people who have values, people who really want to build something, to create something. And thank you for doing that, because you're showing the world how it should be. And it's very, very powerful to see this. Now, where do you see yourself in the next 10 years? How do you visualize that for you, but how do you visualize the women future as well?
Yeah, I haven't been asked this question for a while now. So I think if I have to really think, I didn't think I'd be here 5 years ago. And I don't know where I would exactly be 5 years later. But I can tell you something from what I personally believe is I would be doing exactly what I'm doing now, is working towards service for society. I would be working towards impact. I would be ensuring that there is enough space for family as well as my work, because you grow as individuals only if you try to balance. You can't balance, but you try to balance. And I think that would be my doing and my go-to, is to work towards society, get into projects that support society and drive impact always. But at the same time, I'm known to be a hard task person in terms of the commercials that I do with His Highness's office. I think the men are far more emotional in our office. And I am a little specific on how we need to do and what is our returns, and I'm very clear on how we need to process our commercials. So I think commercial building is always going to be a good part of my career, but at the same time, I would divulge more of my personal time into giving. So it would be more into philanthropy, and I do expect that I would continue to do that for as long as I live.
Wow, thank you so much. That's powerful. I want to give the chance to people in the room to ask a question, because I know after this they may be burning with some ideas. So let's get one in this side and one in this side. Any question for Dr. Arshi? Yeah.
Something I read from a gentleman called Mr. Gasson, who's been working with the family for 44 years, in his book about aeroplanes, actually, was that His Royal Highness's dad, when there was difficulty in the airports and the planes were taken hostage, he personally went and negotiated with those gentlemen, and that for me gave me a feeling about His Royal Highness that means that I totally and utterly respect that kind of family. Is that right? Is the royal family really that committed to radical personal responsibility for the entire of their reign?
So it's absolutely right. The members of the family, all of them are, they're people's people. They love talking to people. They love engaging with people. And believe you me, they are as normal as you and I would be. They would be having conversations like how we are having it right now. So I've never felt that air or that kind of, contrary to what people would presume, again, I've seen them be extremely humble, very down to earth, and sometimes much more than what we would think they would be. They are very normal people. They love talking to people. They love learning from people as well. I have seen an attitude where they constantly want to learn from you, and they encourage the value that you bring to the table, not just in terms of commercials, but in terms of strategic enterprise as well. So I have seen that attitude personally. And I'm extremely grateful for the family to be, and I've continued working since 2017 with them. So you can imagine, there's no going back. I've loved working with every one of them. When you are with one member of the family, ultimately it's a family. So you work with everybody. And they ensure that you're safe. They ensure that you are happy. They ensure that you feel good in terms of what you are doing and you don't feel like you're burning out. They ensure that personally, that it's not that you have a call from them and you have to run. No, it's never like that. It's like you breathe and ensure everything is going in a good way. So they are, honestly, in terms of personality, one of the best people that you will meet. Thank you.
First, I just want to say you're absolutely brilliant. And this is such an honor and a pleasure to be in your presence. It's just absolutely magnificent. You have so much elegance and grace and so much wisdom. And yeah, it's just an honor to be here. So thank you so much. And I have many questions. In fact, I have a whole novel after your talk, but the one very simple one I'd like to share today is just, you mentioned philanthropy, you mentioned some of the things, the projects you're working on with the nature-based solutions, sustainability, and also this non-invasive technology, which is like, wow, astounding. And I'm really excited to learn more about that. But I'm curious, like when you mentioned philanthropy and that being a part of your life ongoing, like, you know, for your life, and what do you mean when you say philanthropy? Like what interests you, or what aspects of society, like what moves you or inspires you where you want to make a difference?
Thank you so much for your kind words. It really makes my heart happy to hear so many good words from all of you. I think because I have personally been attached to a number of causes that I have a lot of specific interest in, mental health being one, that I've had an association for many years now in terms of mental health awareness, much before it became fashionable or in the trend. Breast cancer awareness has been a personal cause for me in terms of supporting more and more women into preventative diagnosis and not into getting into the prognosis later, much later in life. And one thing that may be interest to everybody here in terms of is refugees. So I have been associated with the UNHCR and UN Women for a while now in terms of supporting the people who have been displaced in war zones. The world is watching us now in too many different conflicts, but suffering has always been existing in the Middle East much before it happened. So the UNHCR has been relentlessly working towards supporting displaced women and children are the most affected, 70% in terms of refugees. So we support them in terms of getting the right kind of opportunity, getting equitable, I would say, demonstration in the UAE. So we support that personally a lot. And of course, with different initiatives that the government is working on in terms of the Emirates Red Crescent giving aid to the African Union, this government is a giver. This government has philanthropy in its DNA. In the COVID, I would like to mention this government did more than Western democracies, the UAE government, in terms of their aid, food, as well as we are sitting in Ramadan. Every year, the government does 100 million meals. This time they did 1 billion meals. And the donations were full in less than 3 hours. In less than 3 hours. So the country comes forward and communities come forward in terms of giving aid. The more you do, the more you feel like doing it. So I've always seen that any kind of philanthropic activity or intention is also doing half the job. You need to be intended or to do all of these things. And once you have the intent, like Mirela had in terms when she started, I would say, once you have the intent, there is no going back. You automatically gets associated with so many people and institutions. Opportunities come your way. You need to have the intent to be able to do it. So they came to me. They just came to me very organically, and I thought that this might be my calling. I have to spend time. You can easily put money, but trust you me, it is difficult to put your individual time. So that is what is my goal now. I'll put a lot of my personal time into giving, because giving money is easier. But accountability, personally supervising where that money is and the distribution of that money is important. So that's where my personal philanthropy will be focused on, apart from the institutional work that we do.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. Dr. Arshi, thank you so much. It has been a great honor to have you here.